Right. You started the watch party?
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Sober Grind. We have a good topic today. We're talking about paraphernalia and how and what signs you should be paying attention to if you have someone that you love that may be hiding their drug use, drug addiction, or alcoholism. How you can tell. So, if you have any experience with this, if you have any questions, let us know. Let us know if you did anything in particular to hide your drug use or alcoholism in the past. We'd love to hear and share some stories on here. But welcome back, everyone. My name is Austin Armstrong, and I'm joined with my amazing co-host,
Pej.
Pej. This is a great topic for the new year. The start of the new year is a new me, new you. It's often a time where people seek out to remove those addictive behaviors or help loved ones that are actually struggling. So that's one of the reasons why we wanted to talk today about, addressing those loved ones that may be hiding their use. So Pej, where do you want to start here? What are some stories that you've seen, heard, or even experienced about loved ones hiding their drug use?
Hi, Rod. Love you too. Well, for one of the reasons that we wanted to talk about this is because obviously, some people think that addicts and alcoholics are different, right? And I don't feel that there's any difference because alcoholics can be just as sneaky as addicts. They can hide
Mm-hmm.
their alcoholism just as well as an addict can hide or attempt to hide their addictive personality, their addictive behaviors, their drugs, their certain things that might give them up. There's plenty of alcoholics that will hide bottles around the house,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes their loved ones will measure the bottles to see how much has been drank since the last time, not
Mm.
really know that they know where their bottles are hidden. Even like one of the co-founders of Alcoholics Anonymous, Dr. Bob, if you go and like tour his house in Akron, Ohio, I think there's like 12 different spots around the house where they show where he would actually hide his bottles of alcohol. One was
Wow.
like in a glove that he like a for the wintertime, like a glove that he would hide a little flask inside of, and then inside of like different chutes in different areas throughout the house, and like in the top of the house, it would fall down down into the garage, into the cellar, actually, underneath the house, like inside of a basket where he could then obtain his alcohol and hide it
Mm.
from his wife. So I'm talking like alcoholics like to hide their drinking, and then sometimes alcoholics are even more creative. Like they'll drink certain things that won't be on your breath as much as like
Yeah.
some type of liquor, like
Vodka, for instance, right?
vodka and gin.
Yeah.
Vodka and gin. They don't really stay on your breath.
Yeah, that was, that's really interesting. Sorry to interrupt you here. That made me think of something. One of the slogans for, I think, Smirnoff early on was, "It'll take your breath away." That was actually one of their slogans that they were pushing for that exact reason. Isn't that crazy?
like they're that yeah they're creative. They know.
That's crazy. So, anyone tuning in, if you have any experiences or want to share stories that you've personally seen or heard of about hiding drug use, hiding alcoholism, we would love to hear them. Spreading awareness for parents, loved ones, spouses, so that you can know what signs to pay attention to, so that you can actually help them as well. Pej, you want to keep going? Do you have any other personal experiences with people that have been hiding
I
their
can
drug use
talk
or some?
about I can talk about my own personal experiences, and then I can
Please
talk
do.
about what I've seen. So when we talk about alcoholics and they hide their bottles, well, when it comes to addicts and practicing addicts, like there's a lot of them that are very they're very secretive about where they hide their stuff. And there's some who are just kind of sloppy about it. I mean, you think about it, if somebody's doing certain types of drugs, once you're out of right here, right now, you might forget to put certain things away. So,
Mm-hmm.
back in our day, like when we used to smoke pot, like one of the best things to do to try to get away with doing it in the house was to put a towel behind the door and
Yeah.
to use like a toilet paper roll with like um, the fabric softener that you could like bounce. You could stick it in there, and when you blow through it, then it just makes it up like the smell of it come out differently. So that's how it started with like hiding the weed smell or the weed and just stashing it in certain places. Some people like to put things in drawers, and some people like to stash things in drawers or underneath drawers or behind, in closets, in certain places, inside of shirt pockets. Things to look for often if you're suspecting that your loved one might be using or drinking is tinfoil. A
Mm.
lot of times opiate users like to smoke heroin off of tinfoil or fentanyl. Fentanyl, for that matter, is one that more recently we had found a guy that was overdosed. We found tinfoil. We found a little baggie that actually the fentanyl was bought. Oh, that's another thing. These little baggies, things that
Mm.
little Ziploc baggies, mini ones, big ones, whatever. Things like that, where you can see like the residue and things like of different types of drugs in the bottom of these baggies. That's another thing to look for. But and then their behaviors, their attitudes, their actions, the way that they are, how they may not be themselves as much as they usually are. Things to look out for, like their grades dropping, or them being put on academic probation, or just seeing where they are in life, not being able to hold a job or making it to jobs late. So many different ways to see if somebody that you really care about might be not doing well in their life because they have alcoholism or addiction.
Yeah. Uh, Jennifer actually just said broken pens, Brillo pads, tiny cotton balls, tinfoil remnants.
Mm-hmm.
Great, yeah, great stuff. I mean, when I was a younger
Oh,
teenager, yes,
spoons.
spoons too.
A lot of heroin addicts love to use spoons. If they're bent, if they're burnt, if they're black on the bottom, there you go.
Here's another
Also,
one: knives, burnt knives
burnt knives.
for
Yep,
marijuana. You know,
yep. Why can I never see Jen's comments on here? I
looking
want
at
to
the
see.
beginnings. Look at the beginnings page.
I am looking at maybe I'm looking at the other. Oh, okay.
Well, you're looking at the wrong one.
I'm looking at my own.
I know, stuff that kids are crafty. I mean, something we used to do is steal the liquor out of our parents' stashes. We'd always find them, and then we just fill it back up with water and shake it up a little bit,
Right,
and they never know.
right, right.
What about wasn't there a story that you experienced about someone sneaking heroin into a vape pen as well?
Yeah, and that's really hard. Like, it wasn't heroin. I think it was meth. But like,
Oh, was it?
yeah, it was meth. So, I mean, how can you really tell? Because these kids are these days. So many people are smoking vapes. It's like, how do you really know? But obviously,
Mm.
based off of their actions, if you can't find the drugs, you might want to take a look at how, if they're acting differently. Like, what's around them? What kind
Hmm.
of utensils do they have? What kind of tools do they have? And obviously, right there. Now I can see it. Hold on. Let me go to this one there. See, I could see her comments, but then I have to mute it.
Yeah. Let's talk about and go more in depth into behaviors. So,
Okay.
what are some behaviors, and let's kind of split this up a little bit. So, first, behaviors that indicate they're hiding drug use, and then let's go into alcoholism as well, alcohol abuse. But let's start with addictive behaviors for drug abuse.
So, okay, let's let's talk about the external things first before we talk
Sure.
about the internal. Okay. So externally, um, depending on what they're using, sometimes somebody will be extremely erratic or very, very angry, right? Especially if you ask them a lot of questions because they may be acting a certain way. They might be on edge. They might seem like they feel like they're being interrogated by you, like they're constantly feeling like they're being questioned. Maybe like truly you are questioning, and it all depends on how they react to it.
Hey,
And
Pej,
you
real quick, we're getting a couple comments that you're not being heard on the chat. So can you go over to Zoom real quick? I'm going to show you how to up the volume on here.
Okay.
Okay, so in the bottom left-hand corner, do you see where it says mute?
Yeah.
Okay, so click the up arrow next to that, and then click on audio settings.
Audio settings. Yep.
Okay, and then in the microphone section, just
Mm-hmm.
drag that to the right.
It won't let me.
Okay, click off automatic adjust volume and then do it.
There we go.
Okay.
Perfect. Can you hear me now?
I can. It's very loud. Hopefully. All right, everyone. Can you leave us a comment real quick if you can hear Pej better now? Let us know. Pej, can you repeat that again? So let's talk about the external behaviors associated with drug use, signs of drug use.
Yeah, I mean, just like the way somebody acts, how they react when you ask them a question, if they become highly defensive, if they're argumentative, if they're, angry, if they're on edge, if they are short fused, if you can't really have a conversation with them because they might just become volatile or come back at you really hard.
Mm-hmm. What are you doing? Keep going. Talk about alcoholism as well.
Now I can see Jennifer's comments. Finally.
There we go. There we go. Okay, she's saying works now. All right, good. Let's continue, Pesh. Let's talk about some internal factors of drug abuse signs.
Yeah. So internal, obviously, if a person is starting to seem like they look unhealthy, if you are finding fat marks on their arms, if you are abscesses, if you're seeing certain types of wounds, if they're burn holes like on their shirts,
yeah,
furniture because they fall asleep with cigarettes in their hands.
Gotcha. How about for alcohol?
So alcohol, there's many different things. Externally, if you take a look, they might be running into parked cars or dents on the cars. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, they can now. Yeah. Jen said she could.
Yeah, I mean, so many different things. Like not performing well at work, at home. Sometimes looking like they're lethargic or like they're just out of it because they're hungover, throwing up, a lot of vomiting, just being totally blacked out as a result of overshooting the mark and just drinking too much.
Mm-hmm. What are some ways that parents or spouses or loved ones can begin to talk to their children or loved ones about, suspected drug use?
You mean if they actually really truly do believe that they are, or if they have evidence of it?
Let's start with evidence. So
Okay,
if they find a pipe or some burnt tinfoil or something, what's the first step that they should take?
They should sit down with their loved one and tell them this is what we found. And I mean, you can go into the conversation like nice and smoothly and just let them know that you love them. Let them know that you're concerned about them. Let them know that you would like for them to come clean. Or is there anything you want to tell me about what's going on with you? And then if they are very transparent and they suddenly open up about it, that actually makes it more inviting for them to be able to come and tell you like they're struggling. Because a lot of people know that they're struggling. A lot of people know that they're not doing well. But obviously, like the majority of active drug users are going to be very secretive. They're going to hide stuff. You can come in. You can come in if you want. They're going to hide stuff. They're going to be, secretive. So they're going to most likely, in more cases than none, they're going to lie to you. And you have evidence and you know that you found something, you can always just tell them, okay, well, in that case, just so you know, this is what we found. And then they might downplay that, they might lie about that, they might tell you certain things about that, but the truth of the matter is that when you have the hard evidence, like now we got to figure out what to do about this, then you can drug test them. If you actually have the evidence and you want to have the conversation with them and they're willing to, forfeit some information about themselves and they want to get the help, that's one thing. But if they want to sit there and continue to keep lying to you and not tell you the complete, honest truth, then you say, well, then why don't you go ahead and pee in a cup for me?
Yeah.
And if they can do it right then and there, of course, sometimes when they start stalling or saying, I can't go, I just went, sometimes truly people can't really do that. It's hard for them to UA in front of you. But in most cases, if somebody has nothing to hide, they're going to be they'll volunteer their urine for you, and they'll say, "Here, sure, I'll pee in a cup for you." Like right now, if you told me to pee in a cup for you, I'd just be like, "Sure, no problem. I have nothing to hide." But like often, a lot of people will stall,
Yeah.
or another thing you want to watch out for too is addicts are very crafty. They may have a Whizzinator where it's fake urine that they actually thought this out in advance. Like it was premeditated. Like they know, in case I get caught, I'll have this ready on hand. That way I can just, like, while they're not looking, I can just put this inside of here and just fool you, right? So you got to be very cautious and careful, and then so that's. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to highlight Claude on YouTube here said spending too long in the bathroom might be a warning sign as well.
Absolutely. Addicts love to spend time in the bathroom. They love to lock the door. They will be in there for hours on end. They'll play loud music. They'll light candles. They'll turn on some kind of fan to drown out any kind of noise.
Why do you think that is? Why the bathroom?
Because it's a kind of like an enclosed, quiet, private place to where they can do what they need to do. Or, I mean, think about it. Like the bathroom is the most private place in the house. When you're going into the bathroom, utilizing the bathroom to take a shower, you're doing it by yourself. When you're going to the bathroom to, for a bowel movement or something like that, nobody is going to come in there while you're doing that because you're in your own secluded area.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's keep this going. We're going to talk about what next steps that you can take after talking to your loved one about first signs of use, finding that paraphernalia and whatnot. If anyone has any experiences that they'd like to share, please do let us know in the comments. If you have any questions about addiction, drug use, or recovery, let us know in the comments as well. We'd be happy to address them live for you. Pej, so after you address the person, after you talk to them about the use, address the problem, what are the next steps? So say they lie, they ignore the use, they combat the drug test, they avoid it, they like the plague. What do you do from there?
I mean, that's something to look at. You can tell them, as my loved one and living in my house, there's certain conditions, and I can't have you like this. Now, sometimes the person themselves is an active drinker or user too. So how are you going to tell your loved one that they need to go get help when you're not well yourself? Or certain parents that they drink, like the person may become combative, or they might say, but you drink alcohol, right? That happened with me, right? So I made this huge excuse, and I said that my stepdad drank too, and blah, blah, blah. He sometimes offers me alcohol, but like my loved one made it nice and firm. They were basically like, no, this is not going to happen in this house. Basically, if you want to get help, the help is there. It's readily available. I'll make arrangements for you, or you can just go. You can go and live on your own, and you can try to do this on your own.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
A lot of parents are not going to stand. Like parents aren't going to stand behind that. Sometimes a loved one, like a super codependent relationship, like they're going to be like, maybe I can fix you. And then what happens is that if you keep them around for a long time, you're going to suffer because you're going to keep on seeing your loved one deteriorate within your own house.
Yeah, it becomes enabling behavior as well. We've talked a lot about that on this podcast, and your personal experience with enabling as well. Yeah. So what else can we talk about on this topic, Pej?
We want to save lives. This is a really big deal. So, if you or your loved one is out there suffering, or you have any hints or clues, talk to a professional. Talk to people. Talk to me. Talk to somebody that knows what to look for. Talk to somebody that can help you take the next steps and how to move forward. Sometimes people like to do a family intervention. Like they think that the family can just come together and possibly sit down with their loved one. And sometimes it works. Like truly, all it takes is for a family to come and get together in advance, have like their own little pre-intervention, where they talk about like what they've been seeing with their loved one, and then moving forward, and then they actually pick a time. They get the person in front of them. They give them the ultimatum. They set them up to get the help that they need, and then they go from there. Sometimes it takes more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the family, sometimes there's a certain person in the family that is not on the same page as the rest of the family,
Yeah.
for whatever reason. And so what you want to do is you want to seek out an interventionist, or you want to seek out somebody that's a professional, like a therapist, a counselor, sometimes an attorney. Like it depends if the person has something that can be used against them, like they have a court case coming up and they're actively using, they're not getting help. There's so many different scenarios, but truly, like if you don't have any expertise in this, then maybe you want to find somebody that really knows what they're doing and how to go about it, how to initiate it. Rod Escudo, that's on here, he's been doing interventions for 30 some odd years.
Wow.
A ton of cases. Earl Hightower, he's seen a ton of cases. He says that he can walk into a room and read a room and know exactly like what kind of feel there is, like how to go about it, what to do next. And in most cases, you're going to want to definitely have to have a pre-intervention so that you know what you're walking into, because sometimes I don't think any intervention is a failed intervention. Often it'll open the door to a glimmer of hope, hoping that maybe the person might actually want to get the help. And you want to have somebody help you that has experience. And a lot of people like to go and ask a lot of questions from a lot of people, and a lot of people have a lot of opinions, but like it's really not recommended to ask for too many opinions, because you're
Mm-hmm.
going to get, when you have too many cooks in the kitchen, you might get a lot of different answers and you might make the wrong choice. You want to ask somebody that knows what they're doing. Like you truly want to ask somebody
Yeah.
that's a professional that's been doing this for a while. How do we go about this so that they can help you go in and help the person accordingly?
Great. Yeah, absolutely. I can't agree with you more. If anyone is, struggling, or if you have further questions, we want to encourage you to reach out. But you can also, if you don't feel comfortable making that call or sending an email, you can also join our Sober Grind Recovery Facebook group. You can find it by just typing in Sober Grind on Facebook. The group will pop up. There's a ton of amazing professionals in there that will answer any questions that you have. It's also a great support network as well. Tom is watching right here. Tom posts in there motivational stuff every single day. I get the notification that there's a new post from Tom in there welcoming everyone. It's a really warm community. People post a lot of amazing stuff in there. So please go check out the Sober Grind Facebook group. It's amazing. If you do want to reach out for help, you can always send me a message. You can send Pej a message. You can email pej@beginningstreatment.com, or you can reach out and call Beginnings 24/7 at 877-577-9382 to talk to an experienced professional that will get you the help that you need for yourself or for your loved one. Also, I want to highlight the Sober Grind website, sobergrind.com. You can listen to all past, present, and future episodes on the website. We have a ton of great resources on there for you. Check it out. And if you have any further questions, please reach out to us. Thank you again. Pej, thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Sober Grind out.
Out.